The time has come for us to introspect about the kind of government we have been choosing. What has happened in the country in the last 5 years is a matter of concern, and it concerns all of us. We choose leaders depending on their manifestos, upon the promises that they make. But do these people fulfill their promises? Is it any wonder that we have chosen a government which promised us good days or अच्छे दिन, but अच्छे दिन have not been visible anywhere at all? It is sad indeed that we talk about reforms in the country, we talk about governance being good governance, as if anyone would expect bad governance from a government that is elected. It is a matter of concern that in our kind of democracy, which is governed by certain principles envisaged by the framers of the constitution in the constitution of India, the manner in which we have been electing our parliamentarians is nothing sort of a sham. Who is a parliamentarian? A person who represents his constituency and its people. A person who we elect so that he can be our voice in the parliament, so that the person we elect is accountable to his people or her people, so that the parliamentarian that we choose works for his or her constituency and its people. But the discourse has changed over the years, and now what we are talking about is choosing a parliamentarian on issues other than those of the constituency. We are talking about a parliamentarian being chosen according to the face of the Prime Minister, according to the person who is projected as the Prime Minister of the country. Isn't this sad that it is our leaders who make us believe such a thing? Aren't we supposed to elect good parliamentarians? And if we are able to elect good parliamentarians, they will be able to elect a good prime minister, a good opposition leader. However, the fact that we have a couple of faces on whom the votes are being maneuvered is terrible. First-time voters are being exhorted to vote in the name of people who are no longer there, people who laid down their lives in the line of duty. The first-time voters are being told to dedicate their votes to the memory of the soldiers who died for the country. If they died for the country, should they not be left alone? Should they not be allowed to rest in peace? Should their families not be respected? If they are brought into the discourse by political parties, it is definitely something that needs to be condemned. We need to understand that our vote should go to that person who can ensure that our security forces are safe, that our security forces are not killed in terrorist attacks, so that the party that we choose, the people that we choose, promise to keep our people safe, promise to make our country a peace-loving one, to ensure that we are seen as a peace-loving country by the international world, by the entire world. Why should India be looked at as someone who instigates people to war, who instigate countries to war, who are unable to encourage dialogue as part of diplomatic strategy with our neighbors? There can be no diplomatic strategy without communication. A sustained communication is what is required to ensure that our country remains peaceful. We need to ensure that the entire world is by our side in the fight against terrorism, in the fight against those who do not want us to be at peace. For that, it is our vote which is important. If we cast our vote, putting our minds to the candidates that we choose, their backgrounds, their criminal history, if you like, their qualifications, their education, their experience, the kind of promises they make, the kind of sincerity that they project, the kind of honesty they show to us. That is what is required. It is important, it is imperative that we choose the right candidates. We choose the right parliamentarians. Let's do our job. The parliamentarians will do their job. They will choose the correct prime minister. They will choose the better leader of opposition. Let us do our job. Let us cast our vote. And that's where it should end for us. We should not be thinking about who the prime minister will be or who the prime minister will be made by the party that comes to power. Let's do our duty sincerely without getting into a frenzy and without behaving as if we are the only ones who are nationalists and the rest of the world is anti-national. Let us understand that there is a difference between being nationalist and patriotic. Let us first be patriotic. The rest will follow. Do go and cast your vote.